Let's go.
Okay. Well, Alan, and Meta, nice to see you both. Our question was that you had not experienced much of nonviolent communication and
That's
that you
true.
were curious about it.
Yes, indeed.
Hmm. Well, the topic we were going to talk about today, we'll see what we get to, okay? Because I love to talk about what's really part of NVC is really going with what's alive in us, you know, because that's where I have the most juices, if you will. That's where we connect, um, versus kind of going up what we talk about and think about. And it's really kind of bringing us back to heartful connections. And one of the core pieces is our needs, what we call in NBC needs, which is those places in us where we connect. Life is, we all have life, right? There's life coursing through us. And what is it? So, Marshall Rosenberg, the man who developed nonviolent communication, this discipline, called it the language of life. So, if it's a language of life, the word needs are describing life. And if these are words that describe life, they're describing something that's somewhat indescribable, but we can get glimpses of it and feelings of it. And then we come back into the feeling of it and the experience of it. And from that place of reconnecting to that feeling of that place we connect, then the words happen. And there's all kinds of wonderful um, tools, vocabulary, if you will, we can utilize, um, and ways to speak that help us to move away from the habits of our domination and hierarchical culture to words that support more compassion, collaborative experiences.
Hmm.
And that's pretty brilliant how it names a whole bunch of those things that are under our radar in our words. But the primary thing is the consciousness. The primary thing is connecting to the needs. I'm wondering if that what I'm saying, does that make sense?
Uh, I do understand what you're saying. So in that sense, yes, yeah,
All
I
right.
can understand that.
Hi, Magdalena. Nice to see you.
And
Um,
you may want to switch into what your presentation was going to be. I didn't mean to take you away from your intention there.
that's all right. It all connects. It's a foundation and so let's go to that, which is because this all leads up to it. And for me, it's going over the basics again and again. It's like any art or discipline. And
Yes.
what I just shared, since it was a basic, needs are a language we use. It's like a signpost that points us in direction of life. And when we can feel that and have that experience of it, it can inform us. Now, I'd like to move more towards experiential versus just talking about it. Okay.
Sure.
How are you, Magdalena? Can I ask? Oh,
I'm good.
nice. Well, we were just about to launch more into the approval. Hi, Kasia. Nice to see you.
Hello.
Move into the uh, confidence, inner confidence, and versus approval. And so let's start here. Again, when we're talking about needs in nonviolent communication, we're talking about those words that describe the life that we have in common. How do you get there? You feel it. The difficulty in learning this work is feeling what we feel when we have practiced something different. We've in school, we grow up, uh, who's rewarded? Those who can think. But feeling is something different. Oh, I ask this in almost every session that where new people are in. It's like, who here was asked in school when you were growing up, what do you love? Raise your hand if you were, or what do you really care about? Or yeah, Alan? No. Oh, you're muted, Alan.
I don't recall having that question.
Most of us don't. I do these trainings around the world, believe me, in everywhere from China to Australia to US to Europe, Africa. Very few people are asked that question. Consequently, what we do is we learn and practice thinking. I was a kid who felt a lot. And quite often, I got the thing, David, you feel too much. It was like, it was not something that was so appreciated, especially in a young man. So that's what we're reclaiming here. That's what this work is about. It's feeling what you feel. Because because feeling puts us in touch with life. It's a felt thing. It's a creative thing. It's an artful connection to that flow. And that's what needs are in nonviolent communication. And we come from a culture of like, if you think well in school, you're rewarded. If you think poorly, you're not. Punishment and reward. And so we spend a lot of time thinking and we grab onto it. This is how to do things. So we can be rewarded. But what are these needs? Let's explore one. All right. Again, if the things we call needs, they are teachers. Because if there are words we that describe life, then by listening to them, exploring them, life teaches us what they mean. For example, what is who doesn't need um, who doesn't need kindness in your life? Raise your hand. Oh, so we all need that. That would be a need. Who doesn't need care? Raise your hand. That's a need. Who doesn't need ice cream? Raise your hand. Come on. Okay. That's a strategy. Difference. Strategies is how we interact. The needs are underneath it. Anyway, I'm still back in, Alan, you asked me a little bit about what is NVC and the primary basics. Those are some of the primaries. Well, let's get a feeling of it though, okay? So if you're like me, I grew up seeking um, appreciation. Who doesn't need appreciation? Raise your hand. We all need appreciation. And if I got bad grades, I didn't get appreciation. If I got good grades, I got appreciation. If I did what my mom and dad said, I got appreciation. But it was really more of how I met my need for appreciation was by how other people treated me. And so in that way, it became sort of a way of navigating the world by what other people think about me. Am I making sense? Seeking approval, which it wasn't until I was grown up and really working on myself where I go, oh, approval, seeking it's from outside of you. You can never fill it. It's never full. In fact, it's a form of self-tyranny. Self-tyranny. Because so what I'm working on and what I'm sharing today is a practice for changing the polarity, not from the outside in to the inside out. Really developing what we call needs as a self-practice so that we can move from that place, speak from that place. What is confidence? Anybody? What is confidence?
Competence in skill.
So what's the difference between competence and confidence, Alan?
They're siblings.
What's the difference? There's a distinction.
There's a distinction, yes.
What is it?
One is an accomplishment, the other is an expression.
So I could be competent but not confident, right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Mhm.
What
Yeah,
is
and
so what
right-
yeah, go
right,
ahead.
right.
Yes. Kasia.
Yeah, I think, like the difference is between who I am and who I think I am.
So
I
who
can be
I
very skillful and be very modest, don't be aware. You know, there's very often I meet craftsmen who just do their job and they are not even aware that they are doing something extraordinary. And then sometimes I meet people who can highly speak of themselves. And that's the
and they're not so exciting maybe in their work.
maybe.
Maybe. All right. Let's try a different way of approaching confidence, okay?
Is it something that something is what you feel and the other thing is what you do?
I think confidence, something you do. I don't know if I can just put those in those two categories. Confidence is about who you are and what you do, who you are, and competence is a skill level. You know, confidence, when you know what matters to you, when you really know what you care about, you can stand in that, and other people can tell you you're wrong, you're stupid, you're this, you're that. But you have your center, which is there's something you can know in your life. And there's so much you don't know, but you can know what you care about. And if you deeply know what matters to you, I think that is what confidence comes from. A knowing, a deep knowing. It's not arrogance. It's not, walking around, as if you're special. It's something inside you that says, yes, I know what matters here. And you can say what you want. This is what I know. I'm listening. Confidence. It's moving from it, but you have to know the thing that we were not taught in school growing up. And most of in our life, we're never asked, what do you care about? Now, if I asked you this question, so when you spoke about it, you just want to weep because it's so beautiful. Really. What matters to you? This is a question I spent a long time on that question, mostly in my early 40s, because I wanted to change my life and stop doing what I thought I should and move in a direction that I really wanted to, but I couldn't. I didn't know what I loved deeply. You know, what matters to you? I mean, we could spend the rest of the session on that if we wanted to, which is write this down. You know, what it is you deeply care about and the direction you want to take with it, and for the sake of what. When you speak it, when you move from that place, everything's different. Now, if I asked you that question, I'm not going to call on you just because I don't want to put anybody on the spot at the moment. But what do you care about? What is it? Everybody listening to this is a recording too. What is it that you really care about? Actually, I'd like to ask one person as a demonstration too of what everybody can do. Would anybody like to volunteer? I might have to call on you, Meta. We'll see.
Well, if you're looking for a volunteer.
Thank you. And this is
Thank
a perfect, you asked me too about nonviolent communication. I'm going to show you the shortcut. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. What is it in your life that matters to you, that you care about, that you're committed to, really, you know, personally, not because of what other people say, and because it matters to you. You know, I'm a commitment to something, whatever that is. You know, speak this sentence. You can script it any way you want, but it's like, you know, I am a commitment to something for the sake of what? And really, for the sake of what? What is it that matters to you? What is it that you care about? What do you, and it's just a sentence or three or whatever. Just take a moment. What do you care about in your life, Alan? And for the sake of what? What do you care about? What direction are you moving in? And for the sake of what?
It's for the sake of what that seems to be the tail that wags the dog. You know, I mean, for the sake of something, yeah, that I then care about who or what I am, and how I am being. So, for the sake of what? For the sake of the integrity of my life, of living. Yeah.
What is it you're a commitment to? Becoming. You're always becoming. What is it a commitment that you are? What is your commitment? Your direction, your solid direction.
Yeah, maybe I'm a poor volunteer. I'm old enough now that I don't need to become. Uh, you know, I mean, if I haven't became already, then yeah, I'm not going to find something new and different. I'm always well, yeah, I am always evolving. I
Yes.
would. There's always a change, but there's no goal set.
What has been your commitment to becoming that has carried you to here, and for the sake of what?
Yes, yes, to make a contribution. I find
I
myself in the world, you know, and so my life has been to make a contribution
for the sake of what?
for the sake of life itself.
What is
You know,
what is, sorry, I'm sorry,
yeah, no, that's
interrupting. What is the
no.
contribution you want to make?
Clarity, bringing clarity to confusion, bringing peace, justice, to circumstance. Yeah, I mean, you know, the all laudable, but goals that I would have.
So
Raising a
you're
family,
what?
I'm raising a family. You know, I mean, real commitment to others. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is, let me see if I'm getting it, okay? That, you know, at your age and what you have been working towards is raising a family, and being, you know, having that clarity, working for it, and you know, of the value of peace, the value of understanding and connection. And these are the primary things that you are working to become so you can share it. Is
Okay.
that what is that what matters to you?
I can sign on that for sure.
So is this is your direction, right?
Yes. Yes,
When you
please.
say when you say yes, please, how does that feel?
Oh, it feels welcoming,
Hmm.
inviting.
There's
Yeah,
a solid yes. Yeah,
absolutely.
okay. You feel touched.
Oh, yeah, and moved. Yeah.
Hmm. And Magdalena, how is that for you to hear? May I ask? How does that received, Alan's message?
Mm, um,
And I'm just asking, you don't, I
touch
didn't
too.
mention you touched too. I want to just say, you
Yes.
don't, nobody has to answer. Everybody take care of yourself.
No, it's just I was just taking the time to kind of trying to put it into words. I like how it's that asking this question like a few times over and over makes sense for me because I felt I was connecting deeper also with Alan with what is important to him.
Yeah. So you were touched, and it also moved you, yes, to really go into the same place that he was, right? Yeah. So that's the kind of contribution that's really important to you, isn't it, Alan? Where you speak your truth in that way, and you move other people to feel that.
Yes, to know that for sure. Well,
There,
that creates community.
mhm. And that's what matters for the sake of community, eh?
Yeah.
That's important to you too. So this, everybody take a, you know, first of all, thank you, Alan. Thank you, Magdalena. You know, Alan, this is what confidence feels like. There's a yes, I know this. And, you know, I could tell you you're wrong, but there's something in you says, no, this is a truth for me. And it's not like, I know this is how it is. It's just quietly speaking your truth. It's extremely powerful. I'm moved. Um, um, and I could look at Meta's eyes and go, yeah, she's moved. And I see Kaja's smile and presence. You know, this is leadership too. It's a confidence. And I don't think are you seeking people's approval here, Alan?
I don't believe so.
Doesn't look like it. But you are standing with, here's the difference. There's approval, which is, you know, knowing who you are and what you're offering by what other people say or do. And then there's something, notice what people say and do and check it with your inner knowing. How other people are responding confirms to you that this is a good place for you. Yes?
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. So we're switching from approval to a confirmation, an inner knowing, this is what you love. Yes, I know that. And this helps me to just be, you know, just to confirm it. I'm wondering, does that make sense? Kasia, how is that for you to hear? I'm curious if I'm across our languages, you know, I know you're from Poland, yes. I want to make sure I'm communicating it.
It sounds right, and there is a distinction between seeking approval and staying in your own truth. And definitely what Alan offered was standing in his own belief, in his core, in what matters to him, versus looking for our approval. Like he would care for clarity, even if I didn't like it. And that's what is powerful, and that's what I'm drawn to. And and I'm smiling because I know Alan from diets, and he is clarity, wisdom, love, this pure acceptance for me. So
acceptance. That's he transmits that, huh?
yes, he does.
Beautiful.
I'm
And you
very
transmit. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. You know, you transmit that, Alan, and you transmit a certain confidence in a knowing. And I guess that's, you know, one of the beauties often of becoming an elder. It's a different kind of contribution. Very important. I'm working on that one myself. So when you were touched and moved, Alan was transmitting his state of being, the needs, the resonance. That's NVC consciousness, by the way, as it's described in that discipline. Alan asked about what is NVC because he's new to it. What is confidence? How about an exploration, a short but expansive exploration. I'd like to share a practice because everything's a practice here. And we're noticing what we're doing here is noticing what we practice. For example, thinking versus feeling. They're both important. But if we favor thinking and forget about feeling, then we miss out. So how do we practice to reclaim feeling? How do we practice to learn, say, confidence as something we want, a direction, something we want to learn for the rest of our lives? Well, here's a beginning place, okay? So everybody, I invite you to join me in this practice. I call it SURF, S-U-R-F, shape, unify, resource, field. Goes like this. Sit with your head above or you can stand if you like. Head above heart, above belly, a vertical line. Connecting to the earth. How do you connect to the earth? Just take a moment to appreciate the earth and feel your sit bone on the earth, feet on the earth. You know, if you imagine the earth and you just say thank you, it gives us so much. Just a simple thank you. Notice how that is. And connect this vertical line. It's kind of like an antenna, you know. Head, heart, and belly in unison. Thinking, feeling, intuiting, connected to the ground, and maybe your highest knowing. There's a nice image there. Soften your eyes. I like to keep them open for this practice. You can close them if you like, but when you practice open, you can do this in daily life with other people because it's a way of empathic listening. So soften your eyes, let your tongue rest in your mouth. You know everything you got to do today, all that weight on your shoulders, pick it up physically, pick it up. That's it. And put it on the ground next to you. And don't worry, you can pick it up later. Right now, just give yourself a moment without all the things that you have to do. And feel your sit bone on your seat. You can imagine you have a dinosaur tail and sit on it, rest on it. Notice how that is. Notice how your back goes down a little bit. Okay, that's the shape. Surf, S-U-R-F, shape. Unify is a breath. Go like this and make a sound. Go. I can see that some of you did not make a sound, and you will enjoy it. You don't have to, but try this. And in the privacy of your own home, in your own space, I really recommend, if you didn't make a noise, to do it. And because it's like there's a difference between and so this is a settling system to relax your breath, to relax your body. The more relaxed you are, the more aware you can be. The more relaxed you are, the more integrated your whole system can become. Third is SUR, resource, or in other words, the need. And let's work with confidence today, since that's what we're working with. Now, this is a question to yourself, to your whole body, your whole self. It's almost like you're asking life, because remember, these words we call needs are ways we try to describe life. So it's almost like asking life. But ask yourself this question. How would it feel right now? Use your imagination. How would it feel if I had a little bit more confidence? You know, that quality of confidence that I love? How would that feel? Ask yourself. What would that feel like? And ask yourself without knowing. And let your body answer you. What would that feel like to have a tiny bit more confidence? What would that feel like? Tasha, what's moving in you there? Did you get any answer? So, could you articulate what is confidence? What's going on in your body when you invite a little more confidence? You don't have to, because I can see, but I'm curious if you notice, can articulate it.
My body wants to move. My body wants to dance. My body wants to sing. It's in the flow.
That's.
I'm surprised.
What are you surprised about?
Because this is not what my mind suggested.
So when you ask for a tiny bit more confidence, what that feels like, you move. What changes if you scan your body? What changed inside?
It's light.
It's light. Where?
It something about the weight. It's lighter. I don't carry any weight.
So you feel a difference.
Yeah,
What
it's like
tells you?
yeah,
What again? Yeah. What I'm asking, because this is for everybody to explore. What in your body tells you that there's lightness? Where do you feel that? How do you notice that? How do you know that?
I don't know. It's here. It's in my arms. It's the flexibility returned. Something, like a playfulness almost. Something, the ease. the childish ease, you know, I want to sing Pink Panther. To do.
Okay, so isn't that interesting? This was, you know, just a few seconds to ask. And then all this, that's a big download of information. It's almost like life is telling you, this is what confidence feels like. And in this practice, you can go, what changes? Huh, this what's, so let's continue with Alan. Oh, go
Yeah.
ahead, please, Kasia.
Clarity in my head,
Mhm.
space in my lungs,
Mhm.
calmness. I am calm.
Mhm.
I'm calm. You know, normally I would be very ashamed. I would hold myself from speaking. Even if I felt it, I wouldn't dare to say it. And here I am. Here I am. And I'm
So,
surprised.
yeah, me
Okay.
too. I'm always surprised, and it's a wonderful. So in NVC, you know, we use the word confidence. I have a need for confidence, but right here, what you're doing is becoming it.
Mhm.
You're becoming what you need, which, by the way, is the name of my book, Becoming What You Need. But
And then we have our workshop in Poland in October.
and
Yeah.
the upcoming workshop, yeah, in Poland, and in Slovenia. Thank you. That's the third piece. Maybe a small piece, Magdalena. Did you get any kind of you know, if you ask your body, yourself, how would it feel if I had just a tiny bit more confidence?
I don't know if it's an answer to your question, but I was surprised when you said a tiny bit of confidence because I was thinking, you know, I need a lot of confidence. So it was
Mhm.
like, wow, I could just have a little bit and that would already change something. So it was so surprising. I think that was the main thing. It was like my body was like, I don't know, but it would be, yeah, I don't know what it would be in the body, but it was it's like I was just surprised the fact that, you know, probably even that little bit of confidence could change things.
Yeah. So thank you. Again, however the information comes is, you know, we're listening. You listen to it as a daily practice. This is a practice. But can we try something, Magdalena? Would you mind just for a moment?
We can try, sure.
Sure. Okay. So if you just, in NVC, back to you, Alan, on a beginning piece, we have these we call empathic guesses. An empathic guess is when you ask something, but it's not so you can, you know, it's to connect. And it's really it's walking into the unknown and being open to learning. So if I ask you to ask yourself this, Magdalena, without knowing, without having to know, you don't have to know the answer. And, you know, we always want to know the answer, and so we always go to thinking. This is different. You know, seeking that approval of knowing the answers back in school. This is different, a different thing. Empathy is a different thing. It's whole self listening. So if you ask yourself, Magdalena, how would it feel? I wonder, what would it feel like if I had just a little bit more confidence? You know, ask yourself that and let your body, not your thinking, answer you if that, you know, open up to that. You know, how would that feel? What would that feel like? Imagine having a tiny bit more confidence right now. Just a little bit.
Mm. I think
Oh, you started out with
yeah,
I
I
think. You
started
notice
with I
that?
think.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
It's
But wait,
it's really
was
hard to
there
get away from that.
I if again, if you asked yourself just even one molecule more of confidence, what would that feel like? Notice any sensation in your body. You know, let your body answer you. What would confidence feel like?
Uh, it's like being more straightened up and
So did you straighten up a little bit?
look, yeah.
That's your body. That's one piece of it. Huh, more straightened up.
Yeah, and my eyes are, I'm looking, I'm not looking away, I'm looking more at, I'm daring to look at other people,
Hmm.
as strange as it sounds.
That's so not strange to me. So this, really, just in a few seconds, it's like, what is this need we call confidence? Well, instead of trying to describe it and think about it, you're letting it become a whole self impression, a whole self shaping. And imagine doing that every day now. And again, for all the listeners, imagine taking that one word, that confidence, or it could be a different word for you, maybe acceptance or understanding or empathy, things we all need. And what are these qualities? And taking a moment each day for 3 months, even 1 month, every day for 3 minutes. Ask yourself, how would it feel if I had a little bit more confidence? And just sit with it. And it shapes us, and we become we like empathy. We're listening for the words, for the sensations, for images, for whatever comes to you. We're listening with our whole self, including our imagination and all of our senses. That's empathy. And so it's a wisdom teaching. And I want to tell you, as someone who has lived in a community now for 35 years, an intentional community, lots of relationships. I have a family and I have 2 children who are grown up now and grandchildren. Lots of relationships. I'm blessed with that. I've worked hard to do that, but some of them are really hard. And there are times I lose myself. And I've learned nonviolent communication, and languages helps, but being it, I practice words like acceptance. How would it feel if I had a tiny bit more acceptance? And I sat with it for a long time so I could get to know it, feel it. And then when I'm struggling with someone, and because I care, like I was asking you, Alan, I do care about acceptance and listening and being listened to. It's important to me. And I care about integrity, and I care about honesty, and I care about community. To me, these are all qualities of being even community. We can become it. And by becoming it, we can transmit it. And when we transmit it, we draw more of it to us and we wake it up in others. I'm wondering how this sounds. Did that make sense what I was saying there? Any question?
Yes.
Please.
Oh,
Oh,
I
it
mean,
made sense.
made good sense. I'd
Well,
say good on you.
good on ya. Okay. Well, I did show you, by the way, a surf practice, and I got to shape, unify, resource. But I didn't get to field. That first part is a whole practice unto itself, but I want to get to field just before we go. And I'll explain it now a little bit. I think, though, to learn more about it, I really invite you to our 7-day training in Slovenia and a 3-day training I might mention in Poland coming up after that. That this is foundational work, and I'm moving. We're touching on pieces here. And my hope and what I love to share are ways to deepen into this as a foundation for personal practices, for self-growth, and for connecting deeply in relationship, even across our differences. And ultimately, it's really about community for me. And so these are practices for community. And it begins with knowing who you are and knowing what you care about, and deepening into that and moving from that place, speaking from that place, connecting from that place. But here's the last piece. So again, everybody sit with head above heart, above belly, vertical line. Deep breath. I'm doing the fast version, by the way. You could just start and just do that. It only takes about 12 seconds to do this practice. And then bring your attention, I invite equality. You can invite confidence, that lovely feeling that Alan was transmitting. Just remember that moment. And very gently put your attention to the space in front of you, to the sides, behind you, above and below. It's kind of like a sphere or a bubble is a nice shape. Imagine this bubble around you. And if you want, fill it with some of that care, or just, just care, confidence, if you will. You can do that with your imagination. But whatever's comfortable right now, because again, we're just touching on this. For right now, just bring your attention into it with some care. And very slowly, let that bubble grow in all directions, above, below, into the earth, above you, to the left, the right, in the front and back, so that it actually touches the screen. So look at the screen. And this bubble is just around you and above and below, and it's touching the screen. This might be hard to imagine, but imagine it. And even if you're not in this live program, try this. Because never mind, I'm not going to go there right now. But anyway, just let it touch the screen. And then very slowly, let it get bigger so that it opens and includes the screen. So now we're in it together. And notice how that feels. There's a shift. I can feel it. If you feel a shift, just nod your head, yes or no. Okay. This is empathy. This is what it feels like. And with this practice, you can imbue your listening with those qualities. I'm going to listen with confidence. Or I'm going to listen with kindness. I'm going to extend a field of acceptance and listen from that place. So that's a practice. I hope you enjoy it. And for right now, I just want to say thank you in this field. Thank you. Take a look at who you're with too. Just for a moment. I mean, this is not a television. We're all real people. So I want to thank you for not only being here, but for holding the space with such care. It was felt. So thank you all very much. Thank each other too, if you don't mind. And thank you, Meta, for hosting. I really look forward to our training together. Is there something you wanted to say, Meta, before we go?
I just want to say thank you. Thank you, David, and thank you, Ellen, Magdalena, and Katja. I'm sorry I cannot pronounce your name correctly. I just really appreciate your presence and everything that you shared. That's it.
Okay. Well, let's train together. It's the 7 day is a real wonderful setup where we get to there's a continuity to it that's going to be really beautiful. We did it last year, and I loved it, and I loved the format. And the 3 day in Poland, I'm just going to mention too. 3 days is a wonderful, wonderful amount of time for a good intro. So I'm very looking forward to that too. And this work is for, I'm going to say it for just because whether Alan, who is a beginner at NVC, and Kaja, who is advanced, what I keep finding is the way I keep sharing this, there's something for everybody. For people who are advanced, plenty to learn and plenty to share. People who are entering in it, there's some really solid foundations. So, and I love training together across different, different skill levels. It works. Thank you all very much.
Maybe I just want to share because you started it. This is the second time we're doing this SAYIT retreat. It's 7 days. It's going to be in Slovenia in Pokljuka. And it's a bit different that we're used to from other NVC retreats because we're having the morning intensives, which means that each morning there's going to be David, Pernille, and Peter who are going to have their trainings for 7 days in the mornings. And then in the afternoon, we're going to have workshops with different trainers, like 5 more. So altogether, it's going to be 8 NVC trainers that are going to be offering workshops and practices. So it was amazing last year, and pretty much all of the trainers that were there last year are going to be here this year again, which means and confirms that we had a very good time together, and we're counting on having a even better time this year. So you're so invited to join us. Thank you.
The thing I'm going to say one more thing, different from an IIT and normal like international training of NVC. My sessions in the morning sessions, there's 2 other trainers, or 1 or 2, I believe, but I will be, the people who sign up for my work will have me every morning for 7 days. So I get to train those same people for that morning session. And that's really cool because then I get to really teach it in a way that's comprehensive. I find it very difficult in the IITs, the other 9-day intensive trainings, because I get different people in each class. And then you get to choose whatever class you want in the afternoon so you can meet up with other trainers. It's a really nice formula. I'm very excited by it. So thank you again, Meta.
Thank you. And well, thank you all, and see you in the other occasion.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Bye-bye.
in your offer. It's good to hear.
It was a pleasure meeting you, really, Alan.
Yes, good meeting you too, my friend.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, Magdalena. Lovely to meet you, and good to see you again, Kaja.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
It was lovely to see you and see you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.